get it started. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Welcome to the Ready, Set, Blow podcast, episode 96. And I don't know when it's coming out yet, so it's going to have to stay at 96 for now.
Well, he's got we'll pull it out tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we can pull it out tomorrow.
Yeah, because we have a very, very
special guest.
Special non-comedian guest.
Our very first non-comedic guest, Mr. Sam Newman-Beck. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Sam is the founder and president of Hoops and Hope, and he's a player development coach with the Timberwolves, right?
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep.
And he just got off a flight. It's very kind of him to do this at 11:30 on a Friday morning or Thursday morning. I don't even know what fucking day it is.
It's Thursday.
Right? Well, that's what happens. You don't have a job, Sam. You know, you just lose track of days.
No, I don't know days either. So.
Sam was. First, I appreciate you coming and doing this and hanging out with us and talking sports, talking stuff.
And, right. So Sam's a local guy. That's right. From Medford.
Yeah, from Medford. Grew up in Medford, West Medford. My parents still lived there.
Yeah.
Kind of was in Boston, Medford until moved out of here 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got your start. You said in. With the Celtics, right, in terms of basketball coaching?
Yeah, so, I went to Emerson College, played basketball there, and actually the way it happened was I was intern for Slam magazine, if you guys know that at all. It's big basketball.
Of course, that was huge.
New York City.
Giant New York City.
So I was interning for them and going to Celtics games all the time my senior year in college. And I kept seeing a kid there who I played against. He went to Brandeis, and I was like, I know this guy. Why is he here at every game? And so eventually we started talking, and he's like, oh, yeah, I work for the Celtics. And he was his title at the time was assistant video coordinator. And he's like, hey, we might have a job opening next year if you'd be interested. And at the time, I knew I wanted to coach, but I had no idea about how to get into the NBA. And I wanted to coach in college.
Yeah, did you think about doing the graduate assistant route?
So I was talking to BU and Virginia Tech about doing like a GA graduate something.
Sure, yeah.
And then this popped up, and so that kind of led into the job with the Celtics the following year. I spent that whole summer kind of talking to them about it.
That's cool. When you played in college, I guess my question would be like. First, number one, what do you define a video coordinator exactly for people like?
Yeah, how does that work?
So it's kind of the video. I mean, it's evolved since I first started, but it's essentially the entryway job into the league for guys who didn't play in the league. And what it is the title's deceiving. It has nothing to do with like the video of a game. You're essentially a video scout. And what you're doing is you're breaking down film of the teams you're going to be playing, as well as film of yourself for the coaches. You're working on special projects. You're working on preparing, any kind of video scouting tapes that the team's going to watch. That in the NBA, you use film all the time, just like you see.
Yeah, in any major sport.
Yeah, in any major sport, you're always watching film.
And now it's even more pronounced considering the technology that's brought to it. I mean, you can really break down the game.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just even. Like, my first year, we were still using VHS tapes. Like,
hell yeah.
Just a little bit. Like, I worked...
some old film.
That first year with the Celtics was with Doc and Tibbs, and we'd still give Tibbs some VHS tapes every now and then. And I mean, we phased that out. We just use computers and stuff like that. But
so while we're still in your Boston years, who was like the coolest, chillest guy on the team, and who was... I won't ask you who was a bite in the ass because I don't want you to trash people. But who was who was the coolest guy?
KG was amazing, the best teammate.
And was he good to the staff? Though? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, some people.
That's what I always want to know, man. Like if you treat waiters and waitresses poorly, you tend to be a real bad person.
No, I mean, some people get intimidated by him.
Yeah.
But if you were able to get like a real conversation out of him, and I was able to. I worked with KG later in his career in Minnesota too.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was pretty cool.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
I mean, he was the best teammate I've ever seen, best competitor I've ever seen. But a lot of those guys were like, compared to the guys I've been around, is just a different level. Just of elite athletes. Because it's like what you don't think about is like you get to the NBA. all these guys in the NBA are elite, even if they're the 15th guy
course,
compared to like anybody else.
Yeah.
But then amongst them, there's the elite of them. You know, it's the difference between a great player and a good player is like you see why guys are great, why there's a LeBron James, and then why there's just a, you know.
And is it like a physical? Is there really that much of a market? Obviously, LeBron is physically on another planet, but when you're looking at like major pros like that, because is there a big physical difference in the NBA? Because I feel like in pro football, which I follow more closely or have historically, at the NFL level, they're all gifted athletes. But what separates the good ones from the ones that start and the ones that go in the Hall of Fame are their commitment to excellence. They're watching video, doing film. Like
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
I think just from what I've seen, I mean, all the great ones like they have both. They're 100% locked in.
Yeah,
they're
like me, Randy. When I played again,
locked in.
They're locked in on the court. They're locked in off the court. They're locked in on keeping their bodies in great shape.
It's me.
They're super competitive. They have an enormous ego. They all do.
Sure,
but they wouldn't be who they are if they didn't have one.
That's a good point.
So, like to get in the NBA, you have to have an ego.
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between like being over cocky and having an ego, but.
Yeah. Is KG as intense as he seems? Like, is he just like before game? No one even looks at him. They can't even
100%. 100% locked in all the time.
Intensity's crazy.
I know.
He just like it just matters to him like more than anything. And I mean, I've never seen guys come close to what I've seen with him. Like Paul Pierce, was different, locked in his own ways, but I mean, just from before I worked for them, I was a fan of the Celtics.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And the big three wouldn't have been the big three without KG. He kind of changed the whole mindset.
There seems to be a lack of playfulness about Kevin Garnett. He's never fooling around.
Yeah,
I can see Paul Pierce telling a
joke.
I mean,
if I saw KG, like I haven't seen him in a year and a half or whatever. If I saw him right now, he'd probably tell me I'm fat, out of shape. Why I should go get on the treadmill. That's just how he is.
Just talking fat.
And he's just like that. He's I'm sure he still works out every day. He's on the beaches running because he's just that's just how he operates in life.
You could tell, like as soon as he came, as soon as he got signed or traded to here. I mean, the culture changed, and it's interesting because when Miami came together with those three, three players, and then that first year was a little, whatever. Yeah. They said they needed chemistry for that first year. See, a lot of people don't talk about this. The Celtics won the fucking very first year that they were together, and that says a lot in terms of.
There was no gelling time; it was immediate. They were already sort of playing.
Yeah, it says a lot about the chemistry of how I guess for me it was like wow.
A lot of guys sacrificed too,
Yeah,
and that's like. I mean, to me, it started with KG again. He was the most unselfish superstar I've seen.
He was the nucleus. He was the
when
guy.
When your leader and best player is super unselfish, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it sets a tone.
What made you when you got? I'm kind of fast tracking to the NBA, but I guess going back. Okay, so you're from Medford, played obviously in high school, and then when did you said to yourself, hey, I want to get into... Was it in college that you said, hey, I want to get into like this? Or was it like...
Like coaching, you mean? Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of always... My dad was a coach. So my dad coached at Cambridge and Latin. I was an assistant coach there. My dad was a much better basketball player than I was. Played at Boston University from New York City.
With Coach Dotton?
He coached Coach Dotton.
He coached Coach Dotton?
Yeah, he coached Lance.
He's old.
Yeah, dude.
Shit. Oh, because you're a fairly young guy. I figured
no, my dad's like 67 now or something like that. He coached Lance when Lance was in high school.
Lance Dawn is the head coach. Well, I'm sorry,
head coach at Cambridge.
He's still head coach.
Yeah. They just won 2 state championships in a row, like out of 3 years or something.
It's always so embarrassing when guests are like 5 years younger than you and way more successful. I gotta get my shit together.
Just real quick, I'm gonna let you get to that. I'm gonna tell you my quick little. Okay. This is gonna only be my only basketball thing here. All right. Actually, it's gonna be a little bit more, Sam. So I
He's gonna live his glory days while you're sitting here.
No, please do.
I know Sam hears this all the fucking time, like fucking Al Bundy stories. When I was in high school. So Sam, when I was in high school, right? So I had the most points I scored in high school was against Cambridge and Latin.
Yeah.
And it was against, you probably know the player. I mean, I was a little bit before your time, but there was a player, really good player. His name was Louis Ford.
Yeah, Louis.
Yeah.
He was a beast.
This kid, Randy, well, not kid, he's a man now. But
back then he was a child.
Yeah.
And you were older than him, right?
I was older by 2 years.
Yeah, because he was in high school when I was in high school.
I was a senior, he was a sophomore.
Okay.
Right? And this kid was 5'4", 5'5".
Yep.
He's next to Jonathan DePina. He was probably the quickest guy. You could not press him.
Yeah.
You cannot, he's going to break you down. He was 5'5", 5'4", could fucking pass, break you down. Had a little jump shot, whatever, hit foul shots, tough, solid guy. But I scored...
Uh-oh, here we go. 39.
28 points.
Okay.
I went 5 for 5 for 3, right?
Oh, so you were just stroking him that day.
I was giving it to him.
Okay.
But I mean, he ended up getting a Division I scholarship, but he became
he gave it to you in the end.
Yeah. So Lance Dalton, which I would never forget, he always remember for this, came up to me after the game. He goes, I've never seen a guy shoot against my press, like break my press and shoot threes like that. And I wanted to leave my high school.
Just quit. Just
go to Cambridge and Latin. Which you couldn't do.
Just want to quit while you're ahead. It's like, I'm on top now.
And we lost.
How much did you guys lose by?
28 points.
What's the same? I asked the questions, Sam. We lost. We were up at like 3, and then they blew us up at like 35.
Same high school.
Same experience.
When I
had a great game, but we lost.
When I played JV, we lost to Cambridge 72-10.
Ooh.
No, our JV team was terrible.
Sure. They don't have a mercy
we won
rule
like 2 games.
That's
no
bad.
mercy rule. But,
Not Cambridge, man. They keep running.
Yeah.
They were pretty much. I mean, how would you? Cambridge Line obviously is they're
just the powerhouse.
Patrick Ewing played there in high school.
They're the Patriots of high school basketball. You know.
Yeah.
They've always been good.
So So that was my little moment there. Thank you for letting me have that, Sam. I appreciate that. You just got.
That's
the
impressive.
Point.
Hey, it's more than I ever scored in high school. So
hey, listen.
I didn't even fucking play. So
well, listen, Sam. I mean, I don't think people already know about your. You're doing a lot better than me. So you're fine. But so once you decided that, so I guess once you played and you said, "Hey, I want to get into this." Like, when did that came into the picture?
I think.
Or where you at now? I should say.
Yeah, I think I kind of always had an itch, like even when I was younger in high school and stuff, for like some form of coaching. I didn't.
Does that come from watching your dad?
Probably. And my dad would talk to me as a coach.
Okay.
And like there were things I believed in, like when I was in high school or college, that I'd constantly be like coaching myself, or like, I would do this differently if I was coaching.
Breaking down your own film and your own.
Yeah. And
so you were a thinker, huh? You were.
Yeah. And that probably came from him because that's what he was, and he coached me.
Was he hard on you?
Yeah, same thing. Was he overbearing as a father coach?
No, he wasn't.
That's good.
And sometimes I give him shit. Like, if you pushed me, maybe I would have been a little better,
But maybe you wouldn't have loved the sport as much,
Yeah, no, for sure.
Friends,
He kind of just let me decide what I wanted to do. He didn't force me to play basketball. He was like, go play whatever you want. You know?
That's good.
I always say if he had stayed at Cambridge, I probably would have been a lot better player. But because I probably would have went to Cambridge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But,
they always had at least like one white kid.
They had the one token, one good white guy.
But they were good.
Yeah, they were good.
They would come in and
when I was there, they had this kid Jordy, who was like their big guy, who was a white guy, who went on to play at like Bowdoin.
Nice.
Cambridge. I was a freshman and I was on the bench. I didn't play my freshman. I was playing behind a couple guys on the varsity team. Mm-hmm. But I remember Cambridge Ridge and Latin came in. They had so much sweat. Like Cambridge Ridge and Latin, like they just like came in.
They scared you.
They scared the shit out of you, bro.
Playing there was
they
a
were
nightmare.
Just that much bigger and that much faster than everybody else.
Well, it was like the one thing that separates Cambridge from any of the other schools in the GBL is you feel like you're in Boston.
That's true.
When you went to their games.
Absolutely.
Like, the house was packed.
On top of you.
And
it was a true home game. Like, they had a full stand.
And the crowds were different than, like, Medford crowds.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the best games I ever saw were at Cambridge Charlestown back in the day. Charlestown was another powerhouse when Jack O'Brien was there, kind of after you.
Yeah, after me, yeah.
And the games at Cambridge were, like, it was just intense. And
dude, they would press you right from the jump, like
the whole game.
The whole game.
No shit. They had that kind of
and like you're up on the sideline and you got the fans right in your face and
they had that kind of conditioning where they can just press the whole game. That's crazy.
They played 12 guys. You know?
That's what I'm saying. They have the conditioning and deep enough to put guys in.
They hadn't played like that for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, when my dad was there, they played the same way.
That was the culture that you had to.
I mean, that's why Cambridge is. It's a tradition.
Well, yeah, that's how you know they're good. They're playing 12 guys and still beating teams with like their 11th and 12th man on the floor.
Yeah. So you go ahead and you're just like, hey, so it's good that you had your father was around to I guess that's what the interest came from.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started, and then it just I knew I wasn't playing in the NBA, so I kind of. I explored. I went to Emerson. I explored like journalism and stuff like that. That's what I majored in.
Oh, so you got a degree in journalism?
Yeah, broadcast journalism. I did sports radio. All that stuff.
You got a good radio voice. This will play well.
But they told me to lose my Boston accent, so that's why if you don't hear it, it's not that.
I'm gonna get you a few drinks. We'll come right back. I'm sure.
Well, I give my wife shit all the time because when we come back here to visit. It comes out of her.
I got my New York thing comes back out when I talk to my mom on the phone or whatever.
But yeah, I just grew into it and
kept them stuck with it, worked hard, and now.
So after Boston, where'd you move to next?
So Boston was a 1-year position. It was kind of like an internship, and then I got hired in Minnesota full time as an assistant video coordinator.
Okay, and you've been there ever since. That's good, man.
Been there ever since. My roles have changed over the years. This past year, my title was like coaching associate.
I was actually talking to Sam. He's a married man now. Got married a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Really?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Got married back here, and
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. How's
married life on the road.
Yeah.
She get tired about you leaving for 42 trips a year.
Well, we got a dog.
Let's start there.
That was kind of like 3 years ago. That was kind of the move we wanted to make with that was. Let's get a dog. I'm on the road. So.
Instead of having that kid.
Is she like a Minnesotan, a native of Minnesota?
No, she's from here. She's so we met 9 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, and right before I took the Celtics job, we met.
That's cool.
Right after I graduated college, and we met there. And a quick thing about me, before I worked...
Sure.
In between college and that, I worked in the clubs. I do what Jay Clay does now.
What's that, a promoter?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked with, I don't know if you guys know Ace Gershfield or Jeff at 607 Productions.
Yeah.
So
those are my guys.
I was like...
Those are my guys.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I was like...
Who doesn't know
it? Of course.
I was like... The young guy, like Ace's protege back then.
I'm trying to I know that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I know because Sam was like, we're trying to put the connection.
Yeah.
Like, no, I met him last year, but it was like brief though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like I know you're
yeah.
not gonna. But I'm trying to remember like. Yeah, this guy just looks too handsome not just to coach. He's like, he's definitely had some.
This is the part of the show where Chase hits on our guests.
Yeah. Male or female.
It doesn't matter. He's just throwing it out there.
He's definitely a North Shore look. He definitely doesn't have the South Shore look. He's got the North Shore like look.
What's the South Shore look? The heroin look? Like what is the opioid look?
No, South Shore. Well, no,
yeah, kind of maybe.
It's funny how if you're from the North Shore, you never go to the South Shore. If you're from the South Shore, you never go to the North Shore.
So it's funny to me because I didn't know there was like a North Shore South Shore beef coming from New York. I'm like, you guys all sound the same to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even when I was in high school, I didn't know anything about the South Shore.
Nothing.
Like,
just
I
Brockton.
never went there.
Brockton because they had a good team. Like I just know.
I didn't know anything about girls, boys. Like I never like. It was like it didn't exist.
Yeah, so that's good. Well, wow, you got married 2 weeks ago. That's really recent. That's awesome.
We were actually talking about. I was talking with Sam a little bit before we started up the podcast here, and it's something we talked about before, Chase. We were talking about getting a start in the NBA, and you're saying how it's tough starting out because they don't pay a lot of money. These like basically internships, so you're kind of working hand to mouth or whatever.
Yeah,
and you made a great point. It's like I forget the line that you said, but
you can't afford not to make any money.
Yeah, some people can't afford not to make any money. And it goes to what we talk about in terms of following your dream. Like all the best jobs tend not to pay a lot when you start out.
Yeah.
So you have to suffer for a little bit.
Sure.
Because Jason, I don't know if and you probably don't know. Jason and I worked in finance for several years before we started doing comedy.
Yeah.
And we got started later on. Yeah. I was in my 30s, so was Chase, and it's a very good point. It's like, we got lucky because we didn't have, not lucky, but we didn't have a wife and kids to try and pursue a dream like this.
Right.
So it's just kind of interesting how that translates across, all different career types.
Yeah,
it's a little strange. It's a great way to put it. I didn't succinctly put it like that.
I'll
definitely going to use
I'll
that.
have like friends of mine who are in the basketball world who will reach out to me about like, hey, like, how could I get a G League job? If you guys know what the G League is, like the NBA minor leagues.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you could, but they're gonna pay you half of what you make now.
Yeah,
sure.
And they're 35 years old with a wife and a kid, and I can't do that. And yeah, that's the hardest part.
So it's pretty good that you started early. Like you knew what you wanted
thankfully,
early. Thankfully,
yeah.
right?
I mean, I'm going on 10 years in the NBA, and I'm only 31 years old. So
we're looking at a future head coach here. We're looking. I feel it. I feel the energy.
I hope.
I feel tickets. I feel tickets in my future. No,
I feel it. Because what's his name? Coach Spoelstra, right?
Spoelstra. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of coaches and. Kind of started like that, video coordinator, consistent coach. Like, it goes up the thing.
If you didn't play in the NBA, that's one of the more popular ways to start is through video.
Yeah,
I mean, you get a good, you learn a lot about the league that way.
Yeah, so it's like my brother, man. He's like brother from another mother, like Turin. Like I saw him. Like, I mean, obviously he was a great. Yeah, because you played during that era, right? Yeah, like during his time.
I know Turin more so from like the club stuff, and then
that fucking guy.
And then before I worked for like the Celtics, I used to put teams in like the Boston tournament, so like the $10,000 tournaments I used to have and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just met Turin through like a lot of the Boston guys.
A lot of Boston guys, yeah. He was
like the Will Blaylocks, the Tony Lees. I met Turin through those guys.
Yeah. He's he kind of like just like experiencing like with that part of basketball, like through him, like seeing like what he like goes through ups and downs, and like I mean, he's in his he still plays. He's in his 13th season now,
right?
Which is impressive. I mean, like it looks fucking hard.
And to what you're saying, the level of the NBA, it's just it's just like a different level. Like he was McDonald American,
right?
Went to Notre Dame, then had a great freshman year. Back injury.
I remember his back. Yeah,
one injury, and that's all of a sudden your draft stock goes down.
Right.
And then, but the drive to stay. I'm still going to stick with it. I could still make good money.
Yeah.
And not be in the NBA. I could still have a career. Right. And then,
I have a couple close friends who play in Europe now. They're like 29.
Yeah.
And I mean, Europe has different levels too. I mean, as Turin could tell you. Some guys are making $1 million, and some guys are making $5,000.
$5,000. Yeah.
But I always tell like my buddies, like, play as long as you can, because once you're done, you're done.
Yeah, they're not going to have you back.
Yeah, and once you can't play anymore physically, you'll start to miss it. Like you wish you could still play. You know?
Did you? Wow, so the love is still there as much as it was as a kid, huh? It's still the passion for the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, the part that can be difficult, as in any professional sport, is the politics, and it can get frustrating.
I imagine on a pro level it's even worse because one coach goes and all of a sudden the whole staff's in jeopardy.
Right, and sometimes you get the short end of the stick, or you work with people you're not fans of, or any of that stuff at a pro level. It's high.
It gets high, yeah,
and that can be difficult to deal with. But I think it happens at most levels. I think at college, you can see there was a big scandal with Adidas this year.
Yeah.
What happened with them? I missed that. What happened with them?
So there was this big Adidas scandal that happened in college basketball about I don't know all the details, but
paying coaches, that kind of thing.
Yeah, to get high school kids to go to their schools, and some people got arrested. The FBI did a probe.
Oh yeah.
So there's that at all levels, but that part of it can get a little tiring.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's it's been going on for a long time, to a degree. If a kid likes a high, it's like that, those movies back in the days where a kid goes to plays for the next school in another town or something, and everyone's up in an uproar, and then it's I feel like these kids, should have a choice where they should play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much you can talk about it being in the NBA, but what do you think about the way the NCAA treats the players in the way that they basically have no rights whatsoever?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the inner workings of that stuff just because I haven't paid attention much to college stuff. I think it's getting better from what I've been told. Like, I think they are starting to provide, they're giving them money for meals, I believe.
Yeah.
I just don't know too much about it, to be honest.
From a player development standpoint, what do you think of the one and done situation? Is that helpful, hurtful? Does it not matter? I mean, would you just take guys out of high school if you could?
I mean, it's tough. I think whatever they can do to protect the kid the most. So if it's like the draft is tough, and I think they're going to change it, like where if a guy declares and then doesn't get drafted, he can't go back to school. I think he should be able to go back to school.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like don't cut his future short just because he declared for the draft. You know, like
he
if he doesn't get drafted, let him go back to school. You know?
on that scholarship.
Yeah, or whatever. Whatever. Just don't let him, because essentially now guys, if when they're coming out, like Lenny Cook, if you remember him, like he came out, didn't get drafted, and then
got fat, and whatever,
and nothing happened with his career. Like if he could have went back to St. John's or wherever he was supposed to go, I don't remember, but maybe his career would have. Maybe he still would have been an NBA player, and gotten an education at the same time.
Yeah, or got an education and got a job.
Well, that's the biggest unfortunate. They say, well, we don't, they don't pay the players, but they're getting paid in a scholarship. But the scholarship isn't guaranteed; they can cut them at any time. So that I agree with Sam. It's unfair if you shouldn't lose eligibility for trying to get promoted to being a pro.
Right.
And it's a little bit two-faced to say, oh, you can go here as long as you want until we decide you can't. It's like, nah, that's a little, If you give a team 2 seasons and you make a shot at trying to get drafted and it doesn't work out, you should be able to go back to that team. It shouldn't be just over for you.
Right.
It's bizarre. You're just like transferring when you lose a year of eligibility.
Well, I guess in theory, it's like, with NBA, if you're trying out for an NBA team, if you go to the combine and, you're working out, you only got a shot, like one shot, right?
Yeah,
and then, what's the, well, I guess not really, because if you don't make the NBA, you have options. If you have an agent you sign, you can play overseas, or if I guess it's not the same. Yeah, it's a little
muddied up.
A little muddied up, yeah.
What? So let me ask you again. Just getting onto the league in general. What do you think? Because I've gotten more and more into the NBA over the last few years. I was a huge NBA fan in the '90s growing up. I was a Knicks fan and the Bulls. I know, right? Don't worry, they never won anything. I wouldn't worry about the Knicks. And then they're not on the verge of it either. But what do you we were talking about this a couple weeks ago with another one of our guests. What do you think about KG's move to join basically his biggest rival in the West and then just create this super dynasty with
KG?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kevin Durant, KD.
Oh, okay.
KD.
KD, sorry.
KD, yeah. I go back and forth. I think me personally, I wouldn't want to go join, the team that's been taking me out. But
fucking love Sam.
But
true.
I also understand that there's no loyalty from the other side of
ownership,
it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's a business. You're gonna do the ownership side is gonna do what's best for them, and the players are gonna do what's best for them.
Absolutely.
Whatever that best situation is for them, I think everyone has the right to do it.
Sure.
I think it's a different NBA now than it was 10 years ago. But and you could say prior to that there was the whole Ray Allen leaving Boston and going to Miami.
He wasn't the second best player in the league.
No. And also there was he felt a certain kind of way about how his situation was handled in Boston.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know the inner workings of KD's relationship with OKC or any of that stuff,
Yeah, so, what was happening behind the scenes, whatever.
And, obviously he wanted a different situation. So,
I
think everyone has the right to do what they want. It's a business. It's like any other business. Just because it's sports doesn't mean, they have loyalty to whoever. You see it even worse in, football.
Oh, the way they treat their players in football is brutal.
Yeah, it's terrible. They should really strike and because like you get cut, you could lose your whole career.
Oh yeah, well, if you get hurt, they can cut you. That's
right, which is terrible.
They have to pay for the season you got hurt in, and then never again.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, well, it's just bad. I think it's just like you said, a weak players union. Yeah, and thankfully, the NBA after the. Whatever happened in the mid-'90s, they really took control of the Players Association.
No, the NBA has a great Players Association,
Yeah. I want to get talked about the reason why you're in Boston currently.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this charity, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started this charity day called Hoops and Hope, honoring our youth, and it started 3 years ago. And kind of actually where it started was about when I was in college. I played in this basketball league in West Medford, and you guys probably don't know too much about West Medford, but West Medford was kind of one of the first African-American communities when slaves came up from the South.
Okay.
And it's this little neighborhood in Medford that's different than the rest of Medford. And when I was growing up in elementary school, I used to hang out there. I used to go to the West Medford Community Center, which at the time was a little shack, and I made some of my close friends there. But we used to hang out at the park, which is Duggar Park. And it was kind of like a little neighborhood where everyone knew each other. Everyone had each other's backs. And it was different. I was like the only white kid around. And it's since changed since then. But when I was in college, there was a basketball league there and it was a friend of ours who was a year older than me, Brandon Bolden, passed away when he was 16, playing in Malden, actually. Yeah. On the court, had a heart attack.
Wow, on the court?
Yeah, jeez. On the court in a summer league in Malden. And he was from West Medford, and there's a memorial down at the park for him. But they started a basketball league for him. And so I played in that in college, and then for a year or two, it stopped. And it was kind of depressing. It was for a year. It stopped. And it was kind of depressing that summer because you never saw anyone at the park. There was nowhere to play.
Yeah.
So then my senior year of college, those 2 summers, I decided, along with a couple other people that helped me, like, hey, let's get this league going again. And so we got this league going, Brandon Bolden Summer Basketball League. And then I left to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then so the league stopped and nothing was really going on at the park. And I kind of always wanted to do something to give back to this neighborhood that helped to raise me and meant so much to me. But I wanted to make sure when I did it that I could really make an event worthwhile. Mm-hmm. And the goal was, could I get like professional athletes to come to Medford and host a clinic or things of that nature. And so finally 3 years ago, I decided, hey, let's give it a shot. And I really decided that because at the time, Zach LaVine said, I'll come to Boston and do your clinic.
Oh, nice.
And Zach had just won the dunk contest, was in Minnesota.
Oh, that's cool.
Unfortunately, 2 weeks before the event, he was with Nike. Nike said, we need you to fly to China that weekend. So that kind of shifted things. But that same year, we had Patrick Pass from the New England Patriots.
Nice.
We had Zachary Haravav from the Revolution come. And so we did a clinic. And when we did multiple clinics, and then we continued the Brandon Bolden basketball tournament, which had already been going on. And so we turned it into a day filled with free clinics and a basketball tournament. And so since then, we've kind of expanded it to include that, to include silent auctions, food trucks. Like this year, we have girls' high school tournament, boys' high school tournament.
Yeah.
We've also had like a girls' round table over the last 2 years with like a female, I guess you could say, like leader in her craft come and speak to the girls there.
Oh, that's great.
So it's been great, and it's free. We raise money for the West Medford Community Center, for the Crystal Campbell Fund. If you don't know who Crystal Campbell is, she went to Medford High School, passed away in the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yep.
And, it's just my goal is to get people there, create a day for kids to have fun, families to come out, like people be outside, because I think that's been lost a lot over the years, is people being outside, hanging out at parks, playing basketball at parks.
I've ridden by a few basketball courts in the middle of the summer, and no one was there. And it's like, when I was a kid, man, the line for next was fucking 12 people long. I mean, you were waiting around for an hour to get on the court.
Right. I mean, when I was in high school, we'd go on a Sunday, we'd start in Medford, play at Duggar Park from 1 to 3, go to the Riverside in Cambridge and play from 3 to 5, and then we go back to Duggar and play at night with kids from Arlington and Somerville till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because the lights would stay on all night.
And,
you know, you don't really see that anymore. But that was kind of my goal, was to create some special event that kids could go up, you know, come see.
That's great.
So
that's good, man. Because it's me and Randy, you know, we as comedians, you know, and when we like quit finance and we just want to go down this road, you know, how we came together, because the reason why we came together because we kind of shared the same like ideas and that you had, you know, of giving back and like, or you know, and giving. So, you know, we produce comedy shows in Boston and you know, New England, and we bring like national headliners who necessarily don't come to Boston, but they, you know, they could bring a draw and get people excited and come see them, and we donate, you know, proceeds to charity.
That's cool. Yeah.
Usually the Perkins School of the Bryans for the most part, because Chase's mother worked there for a number of years.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But I mean, like I've always said it before, like, you know, having money is great and giving money away is fantastic, but if you're not giving your time, you're really shortchanging any sort of giving that you're doing, because you know, money helps, but if you're not personally there and overseeing it and you know, for lack of, you know, a better term, giving a shit about what it is you're donating, you know, your money and time to, it kind of falls on deaf ears.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that's awesome. So let the people know where they can go check this event out.
Yeah, so it's I mean, one, you can check out our website, hoopsandhope.org. For kids who want to partake in the clinics, that's where you go to register online. There's a basketball clinic at 12:30 with George Niang, who plays for the Utah Jazz. He's a local kid from Methuen.
Yeah. Stud.
Yeah, went to Iowa State.
Stud.
Just got signed to the Jazz. At 1:30, we have 2 clinics. We have a football clinic with Gosner Sharulis from Somerville.
Gosner, that guy's a monster.
Played at Boston College.
With Matt,
and Gosner's a good friend of mine. We were a year apart in high school. We used to play him at Somerville High. He played basketball.
He played basketball?
He did.
At that weight?
Yeah. Well, he was probably
so big.
He was probably a little
leaner,
slim. Yeah, he was a high school kid, but he was big. He was 6'8".
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I'm seeing him at BC, and I was like, geez, he's got a mountain walking.
Yeah, and Gosner, you know, played in the NFL for a bunch of years, and then we have a soccer clinic with Jalil Anibaba from the Revolution. They actually have a game Saturday. He's flying back in Sunday and coming straight to the clinic on Sunday. So, and then we have a girls' high school tournament with 4 teams: Somerville, Cathedral, Tech Boston, and Cambridge.
Oh, wow. There's got to be a couple hundred kids involved in this point.
Yeah,
that's great.
No Malden in there, Randy. I wonder why. You know,
well, because you're not there. You know, the superstar is no longer
there. Sorry. I don't personally know the Malden coach, but and then the boys' tournament is Medford, Cambridge, Newton North, and Arlington. And then there's also a men's tournament, which kind of carries on the tradition from the summer leagues that we used to run. And then there's a silent auction with free autograph stuff, free tickets, all that stuff to raise money. There'll be a couple food trucks.
That's great, man.
So it's at Duggar Park in West Medford.
Excellent.
It's kind of like weird. I always say it's like one Mystic River Road. I don't know if it actually has an address, because it's like literally the whole length of there's a river there, the Mystic River.
Oh, it just sounds like a block party. This sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. So we closed the whole thing off. So it's it'll be pretty fun. We have some great sponsors, you know, that have helped us either get things we need, or some have donated money that helps us pay for everything we need. So yeah, it's something we're extremely excited about.
Yeah, I'm sure you're very, very proud. It's like your baby, you know. It's like
yeah. You know, it's I had a busy summer this year, so it was kind of a little hard to plan stuff. But actually, my dad helps out a lot. The community, the West Medford Community Center, helps us out a lot, and So we were able to get it going for the third year. So
yeah, if you guys are out there, definitely check that out. This is for a great cause, and it's free.
I'll be flying back, but I'll be back by 12:30. I can check that out. It goes all day.
Yeah,
right?
It goes till like 5 o'clock. So
all right, nice.
Yeah. It and what time does it officially kick off?
10:30.
10:30
to 5.
10:35. Yeah, we'll definitely
go hit those
RSV podcast will be in the building, and hopefully some of our listeners go over there.
That's right.
Appreciate it.
So what's next for you personally, man? So you said you want to stay with the coaching.
Yeah, so, just hopefully continue to expand my coaching career, kind of hopefully move up the ladder slowly but surely.
Well, you got time, man. Young man, you're 31, 32, Jesus Christ.
Not yet, 31.
31. Fuck, it's
31.
What am I doing with my life?
I mean, it's great to see.
You're having fun. You're living in downtown Boston.
First of all, I just want to, we didn't really talk about comedy because this is generally like the genre of comedy, but we like to bring just interesting people.
We spit our opinions on every topic, even if we have no knowledge of it. So
that's what it is. Do you are you into comedy? Do you like stand up comedy?
I do. Yeah.
Who's your people that you like or
Dave Chappelle?
Of course, the greatest.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
There's another guy. I like Kevin Hart. Everyone thinks he's like. I don't like him as a stand up comedian, but I just think he's a funny guy. Yeah, you know what I mean. But what's the guy?
I sense that Sam likes thinking like comedians.
What's the guy on CNN?
Dom Lemon?
No.
Kamau Bell.
Yes.
W. Kamau Bell.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I have to tell about a smart comic. Hey, you're dropping W. Kamau Bell over here. Jesus Christ.
Wow. Kamau Bell, okay.
I haven't seen too many guys where I'm like, oh, they're bad,
Yeah.
I enjoy comedy.
Yeah.
I like most comedians I've seen. I think there's like something good that they all do.
That's dope.
Yeah. So look, I'll definitely grab your information next week. We know 1,000 comics, so if there's anybody you want to see in Minnesota, they have a great comedy scene.
They
over
do,
there.
yeah.
So we can
Malmberg has
tickets.
one. Yeah, they have an underground scene. I've gone to a couple shows.
Got my guy.
The underground scene. Look at you. Did you do an open mic?
No, but I've gone to like not an open mic, but it's at an open mic place.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would it take Sam to get on an open mic and do some jokes?
I don't know.
I got nothing. So.
Sam's like, I tell people what to do. Like, I'm not going to talk
I'll
to
coach you how to tell a joke. I'm not going to do it myself.
Yeah, they got I think the House of Comedy in Minnesota.
Yeah, they have something at the Mall of America. I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah, Acme's at the Mall of America.
But they also have like they have a bunch of theaters there where comedians come. Like Jerry Seinfeld's come. The big guy, like they've had, like Kevin Hart's come to Target Center, which is where the Timberwolves play.
Jesus, he plays it's 20,000 seats. That's impressive.
Dave Chappelle, I didn't get to see him in person when he came though.
We have a really good Dave Chappelle personal experience story.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, if he's ever in your area again, we'll try and get you some tickets.
Okay, he does those pop-up shows like he did.
Yeah, he's hard to nail down, but a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast, Donnell Rawlings, opens for him.
I know. So
we can find out where he's going to be and try and hook it up.
Yeah. I actually. No, I didn't. I would remember if I saw him in person, right? Yeah.
Donnell?
No, Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle. You remember?
Especially now, he's pretty yoked up.
Yeah,
nowadays.
I think I watched his Netflix series, so
Yeah, Chappelle's He's a different. I think he's like I guess how would you? Before we leave it, how we would equate his comedy to a basketball game?
Dude, Donnell?
No, Dave Chappelle. Steve Nash?
No, he's a 5-tool player, man. I don't know anything that Dave Chappelle can't do. That's a baseball reference, but
that's a good question.
He's a beast.
He just I'm trying to think of
like a Tim Duncan or something.
Mr. Fun. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
We don't talk about the Spurs on the Celtics and Minnesota, of course. But
there's a I feel like everyone. Obviously everyone knows Popovich is a man, but I feel like everyone puts Phil Jackson ahead of him. I wouldn't. I think Popovich is a beast, but I don't know where you stand on that. That's a personal opinion.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard to judge when you never work for any of them. You're just going off what you hear. But I think they're both probably amazing coaches.
Yeah,
that sounds like that's a coach answer. That's a coach answer. He's pretty hard up. He's ready to go, man. Let's get this guy a job.
He ESPN'd us right there.
Sam, I know you just got off a flight and. We appreciate everything.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, and hopefully You get that job soon. I think you will.
Thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you Sunday, man.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this episode, kids. We will be back next week as usual.
We got our podcast live.
That's right. We got the live podcast September 9th at Laugh Boston, 4 p.m. Don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
And then we'll
get your tickets.
That's right. Get your tickets. They're online at laughboston.com. And then we'll be next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll be in San Diego. And then Sunday through Thursday, we'll be in LA.
Yep.
So catch us out there. But that's it for right now, guys. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Where's the broadcast, you bits?